Week 5 of the college football season. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I'm more hyped up for college football this Saturday than I was for week 1. Because this week we have 5 top 25 matchups. And within those 5 top 25 matchups, we've got 2 top 10 matchups. And we've got those 2 top 10 matchups. The bad news about this is they're at the same time. One's going to be on NBC and one's going to be on ABC. So if you got that little, the benefit is you don't really need to click the last button on your remote control. You can just do channel up, channel down, channel up, channel down. That is the best part to it. Although now that I think about it, maybe it is easier to just push the last button. Well, doesn't matter. As long as those 2 matchups are going to be good and they won't disappoint, I think everybody's going to win that week. Well, of course, except for the 2 teams that lose that. And with a lot of these teams, some of them have 1 loss, some of them are still undefeated. Turns out that after 4 weeks of the season, we are down to 21 undefeated teams in the FBS. Just 21 left. And some of them are, of course, going to lose this weekend because some undefeated teams play each other. So let's get to my Week 5 predictions. Before we get to that, last week, I put on a clinic last week. 9-1 overall, 5-0 against the spread. That is a big clinic to go on. Hopefully we can keep this up. I'm not going to be overconfident this week because I did that with the NFL saying I was going to respond, and that didn't go well. So other than that, let's just celebrate how good I did last week. 9-1 in straight up games, 5-0 against the spread. Now that is a clinic. Let's try to keep this up. Let's get this momentum train going. Just like I told you I was going to respond. See, out of all the YouTubers that predict college football or NFL, I think I'm the only one that just straight out says I'm going to respond after a bad week. That's because I can actually back it up, unlike a lot of these predictors that are like, oh, we'll try our best to do better this week. But for me, it's you want a response and you're going to get it. So let's keep this up this week. Next, first matchup we got Tennessee versus number 2 Georgia. Honestly, I don't think there's really much to talk about in this game other than is Jeremy Pruitt going to kick another board on the sidelines? The answer to that question is probably multiple ones. He'll probably kick one within the first 3 minutes of the game, and Georgia will win this probably 52-7. Really not much to discuss. Next matchup we got undefeated Syracuse versus number 3 Clemson. Too bad this game could be played on Friday the 13th if you're a Syracuse fan. No Friday the 13th curse this year. Well, at least that was probably the main reason why they lost last year, but who really knows? I think Clemson, I don't think they win this by as much as we're anticipating. I just can't see Clemson win this match by anything more than 14 points. So I've got the Clemson Tigers winning, but maybe not by as much as what a lot of people are going to say. I don't think it's going to be a blowout at all. I think Clemson only wins by 14. Or something less than that. Next matchup. This is surprisingly a ranked matchup. Number 20 BYU versus number 11 Washington. BYU is not a team to mess around with. BYU's got a solid running game. BYU has already pulled off a road upset this year against number 6 Wisconsin. Well, back when Wisconsin was number 6. Can they do it again against the Washington Huskies? I don't think they can do it. I just think Washington, that they just really know what they got to do to make the college football playoff. Just like I kind of talked about in the playoff ranking preview that I did. For those of you who don't know what that is, I'm doing these rankings before the committee releases theirs. Because I felt like after 4 weeks, we kind of know where everyone's at, what everyone can accomplish, what everyone has accomplished. And I said that if we started the playoff talk tonight, or this week, that there's about 16 to 18 teams fighting over 4 spots. And Washington is one of them. Just like Oregon's one of them. Just like Texas is going to still be one of them. West Virginia. Just a lot of these teams, they're still fighting over playoff spots. And the winner of this game is still going to be alive for the college football playoff, but the loser is going to be out. Although some would say that BYU is going to be out, even if they win out, I think they could still have a chance for it because they would have two big victories on the road against Wisconsin and Washington. But I don't think BYU does it. I think Washington wins this game in a close one. Because Washington, they had a close one last week against Arizona State. And I think they'll have a close one here again as well. I think Washington gets the win, but by only one possession. Next, we've got number 19 Oregon versus number 24 California. I think the Ducks are going to respond. I just feel like they might struggle in the first half, but I think they'll pick it up in the second half. Because I think the first quarter, I think this loss, I think it's kind of stung the Ducks a little bit. Considering they could have gone up 31-7 in the middle of the third quarter. Like, they were dominating the game until that bad snap happened. That Stanford ran back for a touchdown. They had momentum going. They were dominating that game. But they just let Stanford back in the game. Oregon beat themselves last week. And I think they will redeem themselves. I think Oregon gets the win. Number 12 West Virginia versus number 25 Texas Tech. Texas Tech is coming off a beating. Well, giving Oklahoma State a beating last week. I think this will be a great game. I think this could be the first one to 50 points wins. But I think it's going to be West Virginia that does it. Not only did I say that West Virginia is one of my dark horse teams to make the college football playoff, but I think this is the start of Will Greer's Heisman run. Like I kind of said last week was going to be the start of it. This week we might be at the sizzling point of it. And I'm talking Will Grier probably has 6 touchdown passes, maybe even 7 touchdown passes, and West Virginia gets their first big resume-building win. Because this would be a big resume-building win with Texas Tech being number 25. Next match, we got number 18 Texas versus Kansas State. Okay, honestly, this Texas football this year is just notorious on this account, on this channel, because I'm 0 for 3 when picking Texas Longhorn games. I picked them against Maryland, they lost. I picked against them against USC, and last week against TCU. So I'm 0 for 3 for picking Texas games. This is the only thing I missed last week. Other than that, I had a near-perfect week. I'm picking the Longhorns, although this is probably going to, turn out wrong, but I'm hoping this can change. I've seen Texas's ability this week. It just feels like the defense has just gotten stronger ever since that Maryland game. I just feel like that defense is getting stronger and stronger. And I feel like Texas gets the win here. Next, we've got Florida versus number 23 Mississippi State. Mississippi State is coming off a 21-point loss against Kentucky last week. Let's see, I'm going to pick the Gators because I think the Gators are riding momentum here. And this is also going to be Dan Mullen's homecoming. So is the Mississippi State fans going to boo him as he comes out? I think they probably will. But I think Florida is going to get the win. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think Florida is going to win 26-23. I think it's going to be a game that comes down to the wire. I think this is kind of ideal for Florida to win in the last minute and a half. Next, we have Virginia Tech versus number 22 Duke. Virginia Tech is coming off a terrible loss to Old Dominion when Old Dominion had a backup quarterback in the game. And Duke, they are surprisingly undefeated, ranked number 22 in the country. And I think Duke is going to keep it rolling. Okay, to tell you the truth, I'm amazed by how crazy these rankings are. We've got unexpected teams like BYU and California, Texas Tech, and Duke in these rankings. Honestly, let's keep the rankings even crazier. Let's pick Duke to win, and let's root for Duke. Never would have thought I would say number 22 Duke in football. Alright, on to the second best game of the week. Number 7 Stanford versus number 8 Notre Dame. Stanford is coming off a massive comeback against Oregon, and Notre Dame is coming off a dominating win against Wake Forest with the backup quarterback in the game. So I think this matchup is going to be one in the trenches. This is going to be a matchup to look forward to. I'm very hyped up for this matchup. I see this game being completely low scoring, though. Although I think, now that I say it's low scoring, I'm thinking that maybe it's going to be an average scoring game, kind of like it was with Michigan and Notre Dame in week 1. I see it being a little bit similar. Bryce Love has to be a difference maker once again for Stanford this week. Because Notre Dame's defense against Michigan, they just shut down Michigan's running game. So I think the Notre Dame run defense is going to be a huge difference in this game. I think if they can contain Bryce Love to less than 90 yards rushing, I think it's going to be a long evening for Stanford. I got Notre Dame winning this matchup. I got it being close. I think it's going to be 23-20. I think this could be one of those deals where Notre Dame's defense gets a huge stop on 4th down in the waning seconds of the game. If Stanford allows Notre Dame to get on the run Oregon did in the first half last week, I don't think they have a chance because Notre Dame's a much bigger animal than Oregon is. I'm picking the Irish. And finally, the game of the week, number 4 Ohio State versus number 9 Penn State, top 10 matchup. It's whiteout in Happy Valley. This was the game that Ohio State lost 2 years ago, but still managed to get to the college football playoff. Alright, so here's what I think in this game. I think this is going to be a classic. I think it's going to be very close from start to finish. I just think the huge difference in this game is going to be Dwayne Haskins and the Ohio State running game. I think him and the Ohio State running game is going to be the difference in this matchup. I could see the Buckeyes dominating this game, but I just can't quite see them dominating a game in Happy Valley when it's whiteout. Penn State always seems to do well when it's a whiteout. I'm going to take the Buckeyes in this matchup, but I'm going to take them winning by about 4. I think Ohio State wins. I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. I think it's going to be 35-31. Ohio State comes out on top. And finally, the bonus game, South Carolina versus number 17 Kentucky. I've picked against Kentucky twice this season. They keep proving me wrong. So I'm going to pick them because I'm just amazed by how Kentucky is doing so far. I feel like they're going to come back down to earth eventually, but I don't think it's going to be this week. I got Kentucky beating South Carolina and Iowa State beating TCU. So those are my picks this week. Comment your thoughts, my picks down below. Also comment your picks down below. Also like, share, and subscribe. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. And I will see you next time.